Yes, Hickok 45 here, coming to you from Middle Tennessee. Almost forgot where I was coming from. Yes, Middle Tennessee. Tennessee, the home of Greg Allman, Aretha Franklin, and who else? Oh, let's see. Oh, Pat Summitt. Almost forgot. Yes, one of the greatest basketball coaches of all time, right? And then here we are in these beautiful hills with these green trees, green leaves of all things. Big trees, small trees, lots of them. So let's take a couple shots. So I'm in a target-rich environment, all right, with my 45 Colt Uberti 1873. Had it out this week, and I didn't want to put it up. Yeah, let's shoot something like a hog. Got a hog. How about a 2-liter? Oh man, how about this target? Woo! Put a big hole through it. How about a gong? You want to hear a gong early on? Nice sound. You know the drill. Empty case under the hammer. Yes. So that's my old Uberti 1873. I used extensively in cowboy action shooting, range shooting, and everything else, and nicked up a little bit, but had a lot of fun. I need to look up the dates. I meant to do that when I bought it. We were using it in a video this week, and I couldn't remember before the video. I was trying to remember no reason to remember the exact year, but I do keep records, and it was late 90s, I think. I'll look it up. All right, nice rifle. The 1873 Winchester reproduction made by Uberti. It's been a great gun all these years too, because it's been at least 20 years, maybe closer to 25 that I've owned that thing, and don't recall ever having trouble with it. And pretty nice firearm, no doubt about it. Although the 1873 Winchester was never chambered, as you should know if you've been around a while and watched our history lessons, was never chambered in 45 Colt. Okay, rifles just weren't chambered in that, okay, until modern times. Okay, the rim was just a little small. It was even smaller back then. So here I am. What am I doing? I don't know. I got that out, and you saw a pistol on the table, which is the GX4 Taurus. Just got it, just picked it up, and have not fired it. So I might do that on camera. How's that? Okay. So we will do that. One thing I keep forgetting to mention, I can't believe it. It's been now, I don't know, maybe almost a month. I told you all, well, on Instagram, I guess, I made a posting about face coverings, kind of. It was pretty innocuous, really. And I got disciplined. I got sent to the corner, and I couldn't post for about a week, I guess, on Instagram. Same thing happened to John recently. So, you know, you got to agree with the high-tech folks, the big tech folks, right? Or you're not allowed to post. It's that simple, yeah. But anyway, it came back about a week later, and that's what I meant by the comment I made on that I'd offended somebody or whatever. I mean, some people thought I was talking about offending you all. But anyway, I was just praising a major gas station chain around here for pretty much operating as normal over the last year, and appreciated it, and even put a picture, you know, of one of their stations. So who knew? I was being a bad boy. But it's back. It's the real Hickok, the real Hickok 45, okay, on Instagram. And well, you know that, in case you're still wondering, because I made a comment that I thought I was gone for good, because I never happened. Okay, I guess I'm gone off there. That's right, I think I did mention it while I was still down, maybe in a Sunday shoot around. So anyway, it's back up. It took about a week. And I didn't do anything. I didn't even notification. It just reappeared. At least my ability to modify it, or do anything, or add anything. Out here with me. So, you think I ought to try this thing? Let me take a couple of shots. Yeah, normally I will go through it. I'm it's clear. I mean, there's no obstructions in the barrel. I know it's clear. Normally I'll take them apart and maybe lube them myself, and I mess with, I'm not going to do that today because I was just going to shoot a couple times. It's, you know, right out of the box, this is the Taurus, again, GX4, in case you were not here earlier when I said that. And I picked it up in a gun shop, Ashland City Armory. I picked it up, and I thought, man, it feels pretty good. You know, feels pretty good. And I snapped it. I kind of like where the trigger breaks. Feels pretty good. Yeah, I tell you that now it may not fire. It may malfunction on every shot after me saying this. A couple of big factors on a firearm for me, especially a smaller firearm, is how it feels in my big hand, despite my large hand. Some firearms like the P365 and others, they feel not too bad. Okay, somehow the manufacturers are able to get the designers to get the ergonomics of the grip to where it overcomes large hands, maybe small hands, I don't know, but it just feels pretty good. And where the trigger breaks, it might feel better than the P365 and some of the others just right out of the box. Okay, now let's see it malfunction. Just not buying trouble, not picking on Taurus, but let's shoot a couple. Let's see if it shoots anywhere in the neighborhood of where I'm pointing. How about that target? We'll start easy. All right, in the red. Another one in the red. Must be pretty accurate. Maybe it has a match grade barrel like you see in some handguns. Okay, what's the next closest target? Well, let's try that red plate. We'll move on now a little further. All right, we hit it. How about that 2-liter right there, that orange one? Nope, it won't hit a 2-liter. That was me, of course. I didn't miss that plate, did I? Oh, I did. Okay, okay, I was holding a little too low there, I think. Let's go ahead and throw one out the gong. That way I can really tell whether I need to hold a little bit up or down. So I'm gonna hold up on it. Wow, you can't see it very well. Can y'all see it? It's way out there. Okay, got on that last one. All right, try that plate down there a little further here. Not bad. Okay. Yeah, something a little odd about the tree. Not bad. I'll have to shoot some more, but gosh, not bad. Again, if that's reliable, you got that G2C, G3C, and all those guns we've done were kind of surprising in reliability. This one, you know, I just remembered I criticized both of those, didn't I, about where the trigger breaks. It breaks too far rearward, right? That was my biggest criticism now that I think about it of those two firearms. Maybe Taurus was listening. This one is much better in that regard. Feels better. I like where the trigger breaks. Okay, we'll do a review. I'll shoot some more. I may shoot some more today. Pretty cool. Let me remind you of John's comedy now. He'll be at Laughs in Tucson, June 11th and 12th. Okay, and then again on June 18th and 19th. Laughs in Tucson. And at Rick's Barbecue in Las Vegas on June the 16th. And at JP's Comedy Club in Phoenix, if you live out in that area, at 7 o'clock on July the 16th. And again, he's the feature that night, okay? Between whatever the host and the headliner, so he has more time on stage as the feature. Okay, that's the 16th at JP's Comedy Club in Phoenix. Better be there. Maybe I'll get on my private jet and fly out there. So anyway, then he's at Zany's on June the 28th. All right. Also, don't forget to talk to your representatives. You know, again, do I have to tell you all every day? Something is always going on. New anti-gun proposals coming from everywhere, out of the woodwork. It looks like we're going to end up with this guy in charge of the ATF who, of all things, doesn't like guns. Okay? Thinks that you are kind of evil for owning one of those evil black AR-15s, and I'm sure he would put AK-47 on that list and dozens of others, right? So you've got to stay in touch. This stuff is always coming at us, always, constantly. But of course, they're not coming for our guns, are they? Right, the old line. Nobody's coming for your guns. Could be the most brainless comment you'll ever hear or posting you'll ever see. What else? You know, a couple of things I've done. I've been to, I'll load this mag while I'm yakking at you. I don't think I mentioned a week before last, I don't know, I shot in the Tennessee Classic traditional archery match, just not too far from me, but it's one of the biggest in the Southeast. Traditional means you're shooting a recurve or a longbow. Did I talk about it and just forget about it? I might have. But anyway, it's a big match. And, a couple of my buddies and I shot in that. I always have a good time doing that. At the, let's see, Tennessee Bow Hunters? Yeah. No, that's not. I'm drawing a blank on the name of the club. It's pretty bad in it, but it's the Tennessee Classic they have every year. First weekend in May, I guess. So I always have a good time, and I shoot there maybe 3 times a year anyway, just at other events, smaller matches. I just shoot for fun. Yeah. I hope everybody does, but I don't even keep score. It's just fun. I enjoy traditional archery. Y'all know that. Also, went down to Iraq Vets Range Day this past weekend. That was a great event as usual. I missed it a couple of years, but you know, it's a fun time. And see some of the folks that do the silly stuff that we do with a camera, you know, and on YouTube or blogging and whatever. And people, some firearms there. Actually, some people had some ammo, and so that was fun. Saw you know, Zeke and Such and a bunch of other people, Chad and Eric, and I don't know, I forget all the weird folks I met and got to see again. Well, I met a bunch, but I knew those folks, so that was good. I always enjoy talking to Such. Such and I had a cigar, had lunch together. We share a lot of the similar interests, but anyway, some good folks. You know, a good time. Appreciate Rack Vet putting that on. That's quite a monumental task. It really is. So that was good. I got pictures on some pictures. I had meaning to post them, and I didn't do it yet. Maybe I'll get them on Facebook. What else? I don't know. Let me shoot this again while it's fresh on my mind. Can I? Okay. What am I gonna do? I don't know. I'll know when I do it. How's that? Yeah, pretty good instinctively. It's got a good feel. I was not using the sights, and sometimes that's, if you're close to something, that's good, because it gives you an idea just instinctively how it feels, you know. Yeah, I was having a tendency those first few shots to pull a little bit down on it. I don't know, but I mean, I don't think it's a serious problem. It's just me. I haven't shot anything today until I fired these 2 firearms. I know that's really weird. Oh wow, that is bizarre. It's an unusual situation for you not to have fired a gun. You've been up for how many hours? You didn't fire a gun. What's wrong with you? I'm getting rusty. I hadn't fired since last night, right? So pretty cool. I got rounds left in this thing too. But remember, I have an empty case under the firing pin. That's the important thing, right? The important thing. I did hit some gun on my trip. I went down and I took my time. Kind of went. Well, I just drove down, left early, drove down slowly on the day before the event, and I stopped by some gun shops and places I wanted to go, just errands to run, and going down into Georgia. And I stopped at, I made a list of some place I wouldn't forget. On Target in Murfreesboro, stopped there, had a cup of coffee with the folks that hang out there, the gun shop bums, and look around there, nice gun shop and range. And there were a couple, I couldn't remember the names of the shops, but I actually looked up a few. It was in Dalton, Georgia. I looked up in this place called Sons of Grant. And I looked it up and found it, and because they were open early, and dropped in there a bit, met some people in all these gun shops that watch your videos. I don't know if I ever I got the guy's name, but I forgot. It was, you know who I'm talking about if you're watching this. You just got a job as a 911 dispatch operator, and you were looking at Glocks. I'll just put it that way, okay? But anyway, good to meet you, and then everybody, the owner and folks in that shop. Nice little shop. And where else? Gosh, a place. Oh, what was it called? It was in Marietta. Oh Lordy, Deer something. Deer Hunters. I forgot what it was. That's really bad because they had a lot of old black powder stuff and old guns, and good to see you all. You and your dad run it. Dad's a gunsmith, I think, there and everything. But good to meet you all. And I'm forgetting your name. If you see this, post the name of your gun shop, okay? And because you're the ones who told me about the place just up the road called True Prep. I went up there, and nice place, all kinds of prep stuff and guns and supplies and magazines and all that. Good folks there too. Met Amy, the manager, and other people there. A bunch of you folks, maybe you're watching today, that were there. Good to meet you and run into. And I was going to another place downtown looking for it, and I saw a gun shop, pawn shop downtown in Marietta, Georgia. And you know how pawn shops are that also say they have guns? You've probably done the same thing. You've stopped in a lot of those. Well, one you stop in, they've got 3 old junk guns. The next one you stop in, they got more guns than the average gun shop. So it's really hit and miss, isn't it, with places that are actually, you know, pawn shops. So anyway, it happened to be this place was closed. I was going to, and I saw the pawn shop gun. It said pawn shop gun, but it looked like it was nice. It was in a nice building, and I walked on down there and went in, and lo and behold, yeah, it was kind of a pawn shop, a nice one. And in the other room, adjoining room, a whole huge room, was a really nice gun shop. I mean, a really nice gun shop. And a lot of you folks working there, if you watch this, see this, it's good to see you and appreciate you watching and everything. So I talked to a bunch of you there. So anyway, you just never know. That's one thing I like about traveling and stopping in places like that. I do stop other places. People think I think about nothing but guns, I guess, but it's not exactly the truth. I hit all the strip bar. No, I didn't say that. Just kidding. But I do have other interests, and I was surprised and pleasantly surprised at that gun shop, you know. So, but you never know what you're going to do, and that's what makes it interesting, as I was saying, about traveling and just dropping in various areas. No matter what it is you do, if your hobby is, I don't know, remote control airplanes, or I guess most of those are remote control. It's hard to fly along with them in it, but you know, whatever your hobby might be, and you're traveling around the country, it's kind of interesting to see what, I don't know, people are buying or what's stocked in different parts of the, you know, the country, and if there's any differences and just whatever people have. And it seems like you quite often find something you didn't know you needed. Maybe it's just a magazine or something you had a little trouble finding, but they happen to have one, you know, or something. So anyway, hi to you folks. And on that trip, gosh, I ran into so many of you. Gosh, whether it was in a restaurant or in one of those gun shops. And I really do appreciate you watching. It's good to chat with you. It really was. So anyway, that's what I did. I enjoyed Georgia. Okay, I did a fair amount of driving. I'm going to take a couple more shots if I can. This wonderful, wonderful rifle. It's just been a good one. I appreciate its service and its reliability. Now I've jinxed it. It's going to malfunction on me. I can just tell. Get that empty out. Maybe hit a red plate, maybe. All right, that's a nice sound too, because they're smaller. How about a coffin? Boom. You can tell by the ring what I'm shooting. I bet you could tell that was the gong, couldn't you? How about that plate right there? How about, I see an orange 2-liter. You might not be able to see it. It's behind that red one. I'm going to pop him. Now, how about a bowling pin or two? Boom, smack. Nice rifle, nice little assault rifle. Again, these are fun. These are important. But there's nothing like a good old lever gun, revolver, whatever it is, as you know. I'd lecture all that all the time. These kinds of firearms, I see them more as a hammer. They're your wrench, they're your tool, they're your essential firearm. Lever gun is a kind of a luxury, things like that, or a nice revolver, a big revolver I'm talking about. Small revolver might be what you're carrying right now. What am I carrying? Would I do that? No, I would never carry a revolver, would I? So, not to diminish revolvers, very, very serious too, but small guns, I guess is what I'm saying. They serve such a important purpose for a lot of us. And then some of the bigger guns, there's a Desert Eagle and all that. People make fun of those big guns and maybe of people who buy them. But most people don't have any illusions about that. They know why they bought a Desert Eagle or a double barrel 45. You've seen that video, 1911, or whatever it might be. They bought it because it's cool and it's fun to shoot maybe. It's novel, it's different. There's no law against that. Cooper was famous, Jeff Cooper. If you don't know who Jeff Cooper was, that's a good litmus test. Find out. His line was always, when someone show him a new gun or bring a gun to his class, shooting class or whatever, would be, okay, what's it for? What's it for? Someone's probably all excited about this new gun, they get whiz-bang pistol or whatever it might be. It's okay, what's it for? He was into function, that practicality, of course. And we all are. I am, as much as he ever was on certain firearms that I'm going to carry. Okay? They do have a very important function. But there's another world, right? Branching way out into the firearms world, a whole world of firearms that are not necessarily something you're going to rely on as much as those 4 or 5 handguns you have, or guns, maybe a good shotgun, a rifle, like our armed in videos, picking a handgun, a rifle, a shotgun, maybe a 22 pistol or plinker or whatever. You could probably make a list of 7 or 8 guns that if you couldn't have any more than that, what would it be? Maybe a 22 rifle, 22 pistol, maybe a semi-automatic pistol, good one for self-defense, maybe a big revolver, a good shotgun, a good you get up to 8 or 10 guns that you consider essential, right? But there's a whole other world out there of firearms that are just interesting and fun to shoot. Am I ever going to rely on this for self-defense to handle the bad guys? Well, actually I did in a lot of cowboy action shooting matches. Threw black powder and lead at them, right? But it could be a good home defense firearm, actually. It's not necessarily the first thing I'm going to grab. If that's all I had, I would have no problem with it. But I think I have some better things, really, for the purpose. So, but anyway, don't get caught up in that business. Go ask Jay Leno, what's the purpose of that car? Why do you have that car? If you don't know Jay Leno, get it right in a minute. He collects cars. I don't know how many he has. He has, a warehouse full of them or something? But he probably has a daily driver that's his more practical car maybe. Doesn't have a 120-year-old engine in it or whatever. So anyway, just a little preaching at you on that topic. Okay, does that make sense? I hope so. I have a little tidbit to share with you. I can't tell you where, because I am very good, believe it or not, at not talking out of school, put it that way. Somebody tells me something they'd rather not get around, they ain't going to get around by me. I don't need the drive. Don't you hate those people that they always got the news, telling something they probably shouldn't be telling just to get attention? whoa, we've never seen that on the internet, have we, on social media? But you know what I mean, even beyond that, even beyond just trying to, clickbait to get attention all the time, and be dramatic. I mean, just telling stuff, about anything to get attention, because I'm the one who delivered this news. You wouldn't have known it before. But so a gun shop I won't mention, and I've not mentioned it today. That has nothing to do with the shops I went into, but I know of a gun shop that I have been in, a number of times over the last few years, and including last year. And the ammo shelves are usually fairly bare, as they are in most gun shops, just a little bit here and there. No one's grabbed yet, maybe, whatever, which is what we're all seeing, right? And you've been seeing it. I've been seeing it for over a year. And, I've been saying, and I even talked about this at least once, I think, about how that ammo companies are making it as fast as they ever have, or more. And so the big conspiracy comes from the fact you go in and see those empty shelves, right? And then I look guilty because I got some ammo. I planned ahead. But anyway, one particular gun shop, the owner shared with me that 2020 was his biggest year in sales-wise, in ammo. And it is a shop where, ammo is always sparse or non-existent. I mean, when I'm in there, whenever I bop in. And I thought, that is very interesting, because that's what I've been saying, really, because I know they're making just as much, and it's getting shipped out and everything, just like it is to us occasionally. But it just doesn't stay on the shelf very long. It's gone. And I said that, so it just comes in and goes out. So, yep. So again, that illusion that we have that there's no ammo out there. Well, there is. It's just being bought immediately when it hits the shelf. It's just that simple. Yeah, imagine that. Just like toilet paper or anything else. And that was probably the same way, toilet paper. It I guess just as much or more was being made. It's been picked up immediately. Instead of 100 people who go to the grocery and just roll their cart right on by, maybe 2 or 3 of them pick up a roll of toilet paper. Well, during any kind of shortage or fear of shortage, then 99 out of 100 pick up some, right, instead of 3, and that's kind of the way it's been with ammo. But I just thought that was interesting. Now, I don't know if that's the case in every gun shop. It's just a mid-size gun shop. So again, just keep that in mind. It's coming in, but it's just going out right immediately. Again, I talked about this one week about how fragile the whole system is. All the marketing numbers, the supply number, the demand, the stocking in groceries or gun shops or whatever it is. It's all based on how many people are going to come in here and buy that. That's how many I'm going to buy. I'm not going to buy any more than that I'm going to sell this week, this month, or whatever the business is. So all that's kind of finely tuned over the years, isn't it? Whether you're selling tires, you're putting on tires, or whatever it is you're marketing. Soft drinks, if you're a market, beer, water that's in the cooler, you kind of know how much most markets, somebody's probably got the numbers. They can tell you how many bottles of water they're going to sell this month based on what they sold this month last year and last month this year, whatever. And it probably doesn't vary a lot, So they know how much to order and have on stock, have on hand. But as soon as 95% of the people who walk in the door go get water for some reason where they normally haven't, it's only been 20% or something, well, guess what? There's going to be a severe shortage, right? So aren't you glad I'm such a genius and can share that kind of valuable information with you? Just reminder. But I thought that was interesting. And again, it's not true of every gun shop, I'm sure. In fact, some may be just the opposite. Don't know. But it's anecdotal evidence of what I've been saying and suspecting to a large extent. And you know what anecdotal means? Look it up. I have no idea what it means, but just look it up. You'll figure it out. So anyway, I was well, I'm going to shoot some more. How many rounds you reckon are left in this rifle? I don't know. I'm bad about not counting my shots. Even when I load it, you know, and as I shoot. But if I have to go to combat, I'll get into that habit. Okay. I do know we have an empty round under the chamber. You want me to show you? I just cocked it. Yeah, I do know that. I always make sure of that. All right. Got another one in there. I can see it. Spray, spray. Now I can see it's empty. Okay. Nothing like a lever gun. I mean to tell you, nothing like it. I need a drink. No, not that kind of drink. You know, I was another little piece of philosophy. I was riding in my car today, listening to video, and it occurred to me, you know, if you do like I do on my phone, on your phone, I don't know, if you go to like YouTube or whatever you go to, and you're looking up videos, gun videos or car videos or whatever it is that your hobby is, besides guns, probably your hobby or interest at least, has something to do with guns, or you would not be standing out here in the woods with me, watching me and listening to me, right? And you are standing, because I always fail to put out chairs. So you probably, that's one of your hobbies. Maybe you're a coin collector, you're a mechanic, you're into stamp collecting, you're into what are some other a million hobbies, right, that you might be into, mountain biking, whatever it might be. Whatever it is, I'll bet you've been watching some videos on it. Pretty smart. It's just hard to imagine how I got this smart, isn't it? On your phone or your computer or your TV. But as you know, over the months and years, and you're looking up, say you're a mountain biker. I've done a fair amount of that, and I ride mine almost every day now. Well, it's good. But right through here, right where you're standing, right on this dangerous range, actually, right through here and around. But nobody's shooting. So if I have to say though, I don't look up videos on mountain biking. I just got my bike, both my bikes, my bike where I want it, and you know, this is like my hand loads I've talked about. They don't change in 30 years. You know, get what I want, what's accurate for me, and I just don't change it. But with my bike, I got it set up. You've seen it. It's that one that dude was riding along with an Uzi. You know, that's that bike, that Trek. And so I just bike. But if you're kind of getting into it, you know, or you actually go to a race, mountain bike race, or you enjoy watching that kind of thing, you're calling up mountain biking videos, aren't they? And then what's the best bike? You know, I'm gonna get a new bike, or maybe I'll get a custom-made bike, or I'm not sure about what tires I want. So I've gone through all that over the decades. So you're looking up tires, mountain bike tires, you know. So you've watched 50 videos on mountain bike tires and different kinds of mountain bikes and places to mountain bike, Moab, wherever, you know, and all this kind of stuff. So, and you're also a stamp collector. You've looked up videos on that, or a coin collector. You're a gun person, and whatever else you might be. Well, guess what? When you go to YouTube or videos, guess what? As you scroll through the videos, what kinds of things are going to show up? Yeah, surprise. Oh, here's another video on mountain biking. Yeah, there's one on stamp collecting. There's 3 on stamp collecting, you know, different titles, and you know, tires, mountain bike tires. That's what's going to come up, isn't it? Let's say politically, let's say you're a hardcore Democrat and you're playing videos by your favorite Democrats. Vice versa, you're playing hardcore political videos from your favorite Republican or Libertarian or whatever it might be. Guess what kinds of political videos are going to show up as you're scrolling through? I could show you what I'm see when I scroll through. No lingerie videos, no. But it's based on stuff. Oh, there's a mountain bike. No, it's an electric bike, off-road. Now, sometimes I get just weird things that might be in an ad that I don't know why it pops up for me. And that's good too. But most things that pop up are things that you have interest in. Why is that? They know what you've been looking at, right? They know. Google knows. That's it. I was thinking again how I'm just as guilty as anybody. I pretend to be so open-minded, you know, and I think I am fairly open-minded or no-minded, right? But it's easy for all of us to get in our bubble, isn't it? We're all in a bubble. Yeah, we always accuse the other person Those other guys are the ones in their bubble, right? Their echo chamber. But we get in that, we got the whole world at our fingertips, but even that, more so than other things maybe, keeps us in our echo chamber and our bubble. The things we have interest in, that's what pops up. Whatever my political views are, whatever my views are on finance, or whatever it might be, people who do videos along that line of that philosophy are going to pop up, because that's the kind of thing I've been watching, those authors, those creators, video makers, right? The types of mountain bikes even that I like, whatever, but those kinds of things are going to pop up most often. So politically, or however you want to look at it, that's my world. I pick up my phone, I go to my computer, I'm looking. So it's almost like that's all that exists, isn't it? You think about that. It's, you got to actually intentionally search for something totally different. It's probably not going to show up on your phone as you're scrolling through, because all those other hundreds and hundreds of videos, of interesting maybe videos on guns, for example, or whatever, there are going to be so many of them, you're not going to, you're just trying to get through the things you're in. You have 5 or 6 hobbies or interests. Well, there's always more than you can see, more than you have time to view, right? And so anyway, just a thought I had about that, how we all end up in our own bubble created by technology or whatever. And it's kind of the same in real life when you think about it too, isn't it? We're sort of in our own world, our own bubble, our echo chamber, without even trying to. You choose where to live and who your friends are, people you meet that you kind of like. And so you hang out with them, you go bowling with them, or shooting or whatever. Your hobbies, you end up at a shooting range, you meet people or like-minded, or people that you kind of, like, whatever. They seem to be on your wavelength and everything. And we end up just meeting and hanging out with the same sorts of folks, same interests, going to similar places and all that. And so we are all in kind of our own bubble, and there's nothing terribly wrong with that, unless we don't realize it, I guess. We just need to realize we're all kind of in a bubble. And I don't know, maybe technology creates it might be what makes it, what would I say, it contributes to that, maybe more than anything. I've long thought and talked about that at times, about how making my incredible observations about humanity and how technology has changed us. Because I was in on computers in the early days. So I grew up with no cell phones, no computers or anything. And so I observed how this has changed. And then after a while, just kind of thinking about it, especially as people have gotten so weird and strange, and what social media has done to us, and how so many folks, they can't seem to even have a conversation. They don't even seem interested in a conversation. You can't make small talk. You make a joke that's actually halfway funny and friendly, maybe with somebody whether it's at the grocery or wherever it is. And depending on the age of the person or whoever, they might like, okay, was that a joke, or am I supposed to say something? I mean, it's like they don't know unless you text it to them. It's just, a lot of people, they just live in a different world. A lot of people do. So you think about it, it used to be, like say I went to the dentist or the doctor, I don't know, getting my driver's license renewed, whatever it is, you're somewhere where you have to be in line, maybe. You have to wait maybe an hour, to get into the doctors to see you or whatever it might be. You're sitting in a waiting room. It used to be, they have a lot of piles of magazines and things, because you're just sort of stuck there, nothing to do. You would very commonly get into a conversation with the people sitting around you, maybe. Just say, hey, how you doing? Whatever, I don't know, good looking briefcase you got there, whatever. You get into a conversation. And sometimes, and I still do that, like the car service or wherever. I've had some really good conversations with people up in Clarksville, running into a lot of soldiers, from Fort Campbell or vets, in that area. Just getting conversation with people of all sorts, colors, gender, and everything. It's just kind of neat. Even though I have my phone or I'm working, but I don't know, you just get to talking with people. But I think a lot of people don't anymore. You think about it, you're not forced to, you don't have to. Your whole world is right here. And my whole world is right here. Really, I can manage the freaking YouTube channel. I can all the other stuff. It's right there. Look up anything, do research. I don't have to talk to anybody. All my friends, both of them, but really all my family, my friends, everybody, all my communications is right there. Text them, email them, whatever. So when I go wait at the DMV or at the doctor's office, I can just ignore everybody. I've got the entire world in my hand. Don't bother me, you know. So I think it is one thing that has led to being more antisocial. And yeah, I've lived in both worlds, and many of you have too. And so I still kind of put my phone down and try to live in the other world of real people, you know, and have a conversation with folks. You know, I mean, I'm not that guy, you know, at the doctor's office or the service repair place that's just obnoxiously trying to talk to everyone. I'm not saying that. You don't want to be that person. But you can tell when somebody is, and often all it takes is you're saying anything. That has happened to me so many times, sitting there, and maybe somebody who just maybe have very little in common with me, but I don't care. I just, you know, I might say something to them just to be, they're right there, they're sitting right there, you know, and I don't know, just comment about what's on the TV back up there near the corner or something, and it'll launch into, that's all they needed. It's like they're so happy you just said something, just some little polite thing, and you end up having that's happened to me so many times, a 30-minute talk, you know, not a deep, serious talk, but just, you know, about various things, about their car, what their problem is, why it's there, and all that. I've learned a lot from people like that. But anyway, does that make any sense? I think, and I'll pick on young people, millennials or whatever, because you grew up with this stuff, you know. I think maybe there's not a lot of that going on, or as much of that, just having conversations with real people you don't know. You know, I think that scares a lot of people. You think about it, since you were 15, you just had all your friends and everybody on your phone. You know, I don't know, talk to a stranger? That's scary. Even though you're 23 years old, you know, I was taught to ignore strangers. They're dangerous, you know. I don't need to. I've got lots to do and people to communicate with and text back and forth. I can just sort of ignore those people. They might be weird anyway or something, you know, especially if you're female. I understand that. Uh-oh, there I go being sexist. I'm sorry. See, the difference was back when I was 20 and 30 and 40 was, no, you didn't have to talk to anybody, but it was almost weird if you didn't, you know, because people would just have conversations in waiting rooms and things quite often, and you might join in that conversation for a little. You don't have to have a big conversation with everybody or anybody, but it was just kind of the natural flow of life. You know, the natural flow of things, and that natural flow of things, I think, has been cut off, you know, by technology in so many ways. You don't have to talk to anybody. You don't even need help from anybody anymore. You know, if you break down hardly, or just anything, you know, everything's a button away, click away. So I think that has changed. I think it has changed the sociability and people's outlook on things. Okay, so I knew you were dying to hear that little diatribe, so thought I'd share it. Okay, young people, that might be my advice to you, because again, I am going to pick more on young people with that. Although there's some old people, maybe I'm glad they won't talk to me. Now there's a lot of curmudgeons out there, worse than I am. But you know, maybe turn the phone off, and I'm talking 30-year-olds, not just 20-year-olds, but just there's people out there, you know, and you. Maybe you'll see that it makes it easier to hate people. It makes it easier. I'm just thinking off the top of my head, which is dangerous. But also, doesn't it make it easier to further a stereotype when you think about it? You know, you're sitting in waiting for your car to be serviced, and you're going to be there 30 minutes or an hour. And there's a guy sitting over there. It looks like me, like a big old white redneck or something, you know. Got my baseball cap on. Might be an NRA hat. Not lately. But, you know, and so, you know, the obvious thing, a guy, he's probably a conservative redneck, probably voted for Trump, and all, all the things, all the stereotypes. And so maybe it's a young fellow who's more liberal, a young lady or whatever, and who just has been told by their bubble, their echo chamber, right? They've learned from their echo chamber, hey, that's pretty good, all right, back to where I was talking about earlier, that a guy who looks like me, I don't know, he's probably somebody who would judge people based on the way they look, right? I stole that line from John. It's a pretty good one, isn't it? So they don't say anything, you know. And I'll have to say, I have. It's not my goal in life, my mission in life, to talk to people I don't know, to talk to strangers. Okay, I don't want this to sound more extreme than it is. It's just an observation, because I'm a kind of a friendly guy usually, and I have struck up a conversation, like I say, I can think of 3 or 4 times getting my car repaired with people from a different race than I am, a different gender, that it would have been very easy just not to say anything, okay? And I've had some of the best conversations with those people that, that they're just like me, in so many ways, very common interests, so you don't ever find that out if you don't just common courtesy, with other people, I mean, the world is not going to end if you just sort of put your phone down for a minute and say hi to somebody, or ask them what's wrong with your car. Or if you're in a doctor's office, why are you here? I want to know your medical history. That's one place where maybe some people don't want to have a conversation. They're there to get their cancer diagnosis or something. But then again, people are people, and we all go through the similar things, so you never know. So I don't know if that was of any use, but I just had to say it. I think there's some truth in there, maybe not a lot. What do you want me to shoot before I let you go? Anything else? What should I shoot? Well, I'm going to shoot this handgun a fair amount. So I'll do that later. I haven't even looked at how do you break it down. Looks like you turn that screw right there, and that probably allows it to come off. I have to say, this really is a first look. Not that this is a first look. We don't do first looks and get guns early, as you know. Got this from Bud's gun shop, and but this is my first. Literally, these were my first shots, and I don't know. It's kind of weird. It reminds me a little bit of that. What was that? Gosh, it gun didn't do all that well. Beretta Nano, is that what I'm thinking of? It kind of looks like it or something. But I have to say, I know it's Taurus, and Taurus has a kind of a sketchy past. Every time I say something nice about them, I'm accused again of being paid by them. But we're used to that. That's okay. That's okay. We've been getting paid by every gun company that I like, or every gun that I like the whole time, right? It's just that none of those checks ever get to me. Trolls have to do something with their lives. Really, they might be doing something dangerous or actually physically hurtful to people if they didn't have the internet to vent, right? If they didn't have us and you maybe and other creators to watch and be envious of, or whatever it is, maybe they'd be dangerous. So let's just let them be dangerous on social media, on the internet. Maybe that's better. But yeah, we've been accused of in fact, this week I answered somebody a comment about liking some guns and everything. And I don't, for one thing, and we've talked about this before, I don't really get a thrill out of getting a firearm in here that I know is pathetic. It's not reliable, and nobody really likes it that knows guns. And I can't even think of anything like that, to tell you the truth. If you make a gun, you're a gun manufacturer, it needs to work. This isn't like some things. Firearm can be dangerous if it doesn't work, right? And who's going to buy it? You're going to get any police contracts, anybody that wants one for personal defense if it doesn't function reliably. So it's got to function reliably, pretty reliably, to even be on the market, right? And then everybody has different tastes. and style and weight, and everybody has a different budget and all that. And I know I make fun of High Point sometimes. It's mainly because they're so big and blocky and so weird. Okay, that's all. I understand that they're really cheap and it's the only gun you can get. I understand that. We've had a little too much fun with them, I guess. But so you won't find me bashing a lot of firearms unless I just think you shouldn't buy one because they blow up or they're really, really dangerous, you know. So I don't even bash High Point that much. One of my main points, I think that really irritates people when I talk about High Points is you can take that same money and get a used gun from a gun that breaks down normally like this. I mean, Taurus is almost a good example. You know, Taurus are cheap, or priced very, very reasonably, and there are others. And get a used gun like this. These are pretty reasonable, even new. And then you get one that's used maybe, and versus a High Point. And so that's kind of my point with them. So, you know, as a first gun, if you got to, go ahead. But this is what really gets people mad, I know. If you got 5 or 6 of them in the safe, you need to ask yourself why, you know, because that could have bought you. If you got 6 High Points, you could have had 3 really nice guns. You know, that's my point there. Okay. But that's okay. To each his own. I got to quit picking on them. I don't dislike the company. I don't dislike them. They fill a niche. But yeah, back to this. That surprisingly feels good. Okay. I really, yeah. I like the ergonomics of it. I would pick one of these up and feel it and shoot it. And I'm sure they'll be in the shooting ranges at big gun shops with shooting ranges because they're not all that expensive. And Taurus, you know, they can afford to have some. I think maybe some of the gun companies have a program for gun shops that I should know this. I've heard, I think Rex, the owner at Bud's, talk about that. There are deals if you have a really active range and active gun shop, and you're selling a lot of guns. You've got a range. I think they maybe have some gun companies might have a special on range guns. Obviously, it's good for them. You know, if I was the owner of a major gun company and I'd made something like this, I would. You know, to the people who are going to have them at rental ranges, I would make sure my guns are there for people to try out, because folks like me, of course, and everybody else who does YouTube videos, we tell you all the time to test them out at a shooting range, you know, before you buy if you can. So I'm sure they give them a discount for a range gun, or maybe even give them some. I don't know how that works, but anyway, you want to shoot one of these things if you're looking for one of these guns. And especially if you're on a budget. Well, we're all on a budget. It's just a matter of what kind of budget we're on, right? Thing feels good. I'll shoot some more. What did I do? I shot 4 mags, or did I shoot 6? Did he shoot 4 or 5, or did he shoot 6? So that's things. It seems like it might be all right. Was I going to shoot something else? I got off the topic, didn't I? Let me just load about 4 shots. I just want to shoot this rifle a couple more shots, okay? I get so carried away. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay. Yeah, man, this thing loads like butter too. I love a lever gun that it just loads smoothly and doesn't pinch your fingers, because some of them do. They really do. All right. Let's just plink a couple of things here to wrap up. That was it. That was it. When it's over, it's over. So, 1873 Winchester. One of the ways for new people, if you're new, I doubt you're too new. You wouldn't be watching one of these all the way to the end, would you? But whenever you see a lever gun with this side plate, you see that? Kind of looks like a plate that would actually come off there, doesn't it? Well, that's because it does come off. It's on both sides. You take out the screw from the other side, and both those plates come off, and all the guts will fall out if you're not careful. The toggle link system. And but anyway, whenever you see that, that's a sure sign that it's an 1873, because the Henry rifle didn't have that. And then neither did the 1866 Winchester have that plate. Okay, yeah, it didn't have a plate. I'm trying to think if it had a plate at all like that, but it was a brass frame, both the Henry and the 1866. And then this was the first one, the 1873, that like that. Okay, had that plate there, all right, and gives you access to it. But now also, yeah, I know some of you folks know your Winchesters. You're saying, oh, hey, God, you dummy, don't you know there's another? Yeah, the 1876 Winchester looks just like this, but it's bigger. It's like 1873 on steroids. And really, it's hard just you eyeball one or even see one in a shop. And I always have to do a double take to see, because it's just like this, but it's just bigger. Okay. And so it's either an 1873 Winchester or it's an 1876 if it's got that plate and looks like that. I'm not forgetting anything, am I? Because the 1886, that's when it changed. John Browning changed the action, made it more not powerful, but stronger, okay? So it could shoot more powerful cartridges. All right, no charge for that little firearms lesson. And I'm going to let you go. I know you hate, I've probably gone an hour and a half. Yeah, I tell you what, y'all get me talking, and I just cannot shut up. Well, hopefully I gave you some decent advice today. Too much for certain. And I will see you. Don't forget John's comedy if you're in those areas, and go out and see him. He's actually a funny guy. He got some good jokes, really does. And I'm not saying that just because I'm related. Am I related to him? Yeah, I'm related to him. So check him out if you can. And I'll talk to you next Sunday if y'all are willing to come out here in the woods and brave the heat, brave the elements, and again, make sure you spray for ticks because they're out here, okay? And sometimes mosquitoes. So spray something on yourself so that you can leave without a bunch of little bumps and a bunch of little guys sucking your blood out as you leave. Yeah, you could turn into a zombie. You don't want that to happen. Which reminds me, oh man, I'm sick. I'm going back through slowly The Walking Dead. John had been doing that, and he had mentioned it a few times, and I go, oh man, can I stand that again? Because I got kind of weary of it after, I don't know what season or what year it was. And I don't know, it started getting kind of weirder after season, whatever it was, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, I don't know. It was like they were running out of ideas there for a while. But anyway, I thought I'm going to go back. And it's interesting, here you thought I was gone. A TV show that shows up once a week, whatever, and you got the commercials to deal with, like tons of them, or whatever. So you got to record it and then fast forward through those. And then you got another week before you can catch the next episode. And maybe you miss it for 2 weeks. You have to go back and pick it up, and whatever the deal is. We were talking about this and how we've determined that a series like that, or anything that's split up over a period of years, whatever it is actually better if you can, later on. I had done this with several series. I sort of knew this, I guess. I did it with Breaking Bad because I missed out on it the first several years, and you all were telling me, hey, have you seen Breaking Bad? You'd like that. Well, I was a few years late on that, so I ended up buying the first 3 or 4 seasons of that. I did the same with, I think, The Sopranos and some others. I was just later. Oh, what's the other one? The kind of the fantasy, that everybody was hooked on. Gosh, I can't think of the name of that, but I just get cold when I watch it, and all the sword fighting and everything. But I did that on that one, and I ended up, just buying it and watching it through, binge watching it sort of, as I'm kind of doing with The Walking Dead now. It's really it's better in a way, it makes it better. You don't have those delays, and you keep up, I think, more closely with the characters and obviously what just happened. And it's more like watching a movie. If you think about your favorite movie and, you know, splicing it up and watching it over a 3-week period or 8-week period, it's just not going to be as good. But anyways, it's good. You know, it's good. It's a real, not a paradox, but it's, on the one hand, the acting is good. If you've not seen it, The Walking Dead, it's on Netflix for free. Well, you got to buy Netflix. But it's, on one hand, really interesting characters for the most part. Some of it's a little melodramatic, but interesting characters, good acting. Yeah, plot line is pretty good. You know, first 2, 3, 4 seasons at least. You know, some clever stuff and good acting. You know, good plot line. And then of course, you get the weirdness of heads getting bashed in, close-ups, all that. You know, over and over and over again. That's why my wife can't watch it. She won't watch it, you know, because of all that is bizarre. I've told her even back when it was on before we were watching it. I said, well, really, hardly anybody gets killed in this show, even though heads are getting bashed in every week. You can't kill somebody who's already dead, can you? So, you know, nobody's being killed. But yeah, it goes a little overboard on all that, and I know you gotta get the 15-year-olds watching, and but I mean, and of course, that's what would happen, right, in that scenario, I guess. But it just overdoes it. But then, on the other hand, after being in that zombie movie, and you know, with zombies, you know, Strain 100 and everything, being on the set, and the zombies sitting around having coffee and reading, waiting for their their act and all, and knowing the makeup job that is, I appreciate more the work that went into that. Wow, any of those scenes, I mean, getting those zombies and that incredible makeup ready is quite a task. And man, in that series, take an army of makeup artists and to get that right. You know, and they did such a good job, as we all know. You may hate it, you may hate that kind of stuff, but it's a phenomenal job, you know, of realism, I guess. And I can attest that it's realistic. I've seen a lot of real zombies, right, in these woods, have taken them out. So anyway, I'm working my way through. But yeah, you get that side of it that, you know, like my wife, in fact, I was watching something the other day, and she looking in from the kitchen where she thought I was watching some romantic comedy. I think there was some scene with, you know, Rick and his wife, Lori, and there was something, you know, going on in a discussion and all that, and, you know, intense moment or something. And so she then she comes back, I don't know, like 3 minutes later, 5 minutes later in the room, and there's 5 zombies getting their heads smashed in and rah, rah, you know, breaking through a fence, or, you know, what goes on in that series, you know. And she said, oh gosh, I thought you were watching romantic comedy. I said, what is wrong with him? He's watching some romantic comedy or something? What's he watching in there? Yeah, I should have known. It was, so that didn't last long. So you got those two sides to it, you know, and some people are just not going to like it at all in regard. It's even almost too much for me in that regard, but it's a pretty good story, and it's interesting, you know, setup. If you've not seen it, most of you have seen it. So anyway, I'm working my way back through that, and I guess if I can, it'll be interesting when I get back to where I left off before, because I think I missed maybe the last, I don't know how many seasons or 4. It's still going, I think. The last 4 or 5. I haven't seen any of it for, I don't know, 4 or 5 years. What was the guy with the club and the barbed wire around it? I can't believe I can't think of his name, but that was the last area that I was really watching it after that. So we'll see how long I go through, and I'll make a judgment, you know, when I decide this is really getting watered down. 18 seasons was just a little too much. Yeah. So anyway, I'm going to quit talking about stupid stuff and zombies and let you go. Really do appreciate you all watching, and maybe I'll do more shooting and less talking next week, okay, as a bonus, all right? So hope you're having a good week. Hoping things are opening up where you live. It's definitely opened up. Tennessee's pretty much normal. You know, it was, you know, and down in Georgia and all around, I've been traveling, and You know, you used to be a little strange if your face was not covered. Now that's reversed, you know, in Tennessee and I guess probably all of the South. And so I don't know. Hopefully where you live, things are getting back to normal as much as possible. Although I worry about myself if I'm being normal. I don't like normal people. It's no place I really want to go and stay very long, right? I feel much more comfortable being weird, okay? So I'm going to let you go, and I'm going to shut up. Life is good.